right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. But today on the show, that's not what we're doing. Today, this is a episode that was recorded at a culture shock presentation of the film Mind, Body, and Soul from 1992. And after the screening that happened over there at Beer Zombies, I had the pleasure of hosting a Q&A with none other than Ginger Lynn. Yes, the adult film star who also is in a whole bunch of movies, Devil's Rejects and Vice Academy, a bunch of other stuff. She's also the star of this movie. We talked about her history in film. We talked about this movie, some of her collaborators on the film. It was a really fun conversation. So I will actually be doing another one with Culture Shock coming up this weekend. So that is why I am releasing this episode today. But you could check out culture_shock releasing on Instagram to find out about all of their upcoming events. And maybe we'll see you over there at Beer Zombies for this weekend's Ice Cream Man, which is going to be insane, I'm sure. But coming up right now is me talking with Ginger Lynn about Mind, Body, and Soul. The sound quality is a little different. We're figuring out how to do the sound there at that venue. So, just expect that the sound isn't up to my usual recording standards. But that being said, we had a really fun conversation. So that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at PiecingPod. And don't forget to check out piecingpod.com, where you can find out about all of my upcoming live shows and everything else going on with Piecing It Together. So, with that said, let's talk about Mind, Body, and Soul.
All right, so I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast, and we're going to talk about this movie. First of all, Ginger Lynn, everybody give it up for her right now. Thank you so much for being here for this event. This is really cool to have you here for this screening. I wonder, before we get into the movie, I know you worked with Rick Sloane like multiple times before this. When he came to you and said, we're doing cults this time out, what was your first thing that like kind of came to mind with a project like this?
Well, the first thing, Rick and I have a very odd relationship. We don't like each other at all.
Sure.
Which made it it wasn't difficult to work together, but there were a lot of ups and downs. And so when he came to me to do this film, I was actually surprised and really grateful. It was really nice of him to write something with me as the lead, especially considering our relationship.
Okay, all right. But you guys had worked together on a few things before, a few things like, so it was an up and down relationship, like you said. And when he came to you with the cult idea, were cults something that interested you before you took on this project?
There we go. I hadn't had the opportunity to do a film like this prior to being offered it.
Sure.
And I was intrigued, I was interested, I was curious, and the thought of doing something that was so out of my normal range was very exciting for me, and the cult factor was intriguing.
So it was more like the project itself, more so than doing something in the world of cults themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you get involved with the project like this and talking about cults, one of the things I loved in this movie is how everybody kind of like democratically votes for whether or not to kill people and stuff like that. Was there a lot of give and take with the ideas that came about in this, or was it like just all on the page once you started filming?
No, Rick is very particular, very he sticks to his script. He does not like to deviate at all. So we kept to what the script said from day one and every single scene.
Yeah. Okay. So you said about the up and down relationship with Rick. What about with some of the other stars in this thing? Were any of those people that you enjoyed working with or like had relationships with going forward from here?
I have to tell you, I have not watched this film since I did it.
Nice, right on.
So it was really fun for me. It was really exciting. And I just forgot what you asked me. Ask me again, please.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, about some of the other stars that were in this. So
Oh.
did you enjoy working with them, and did you have good relationships going forward with some of them?
With most people, absolutely. I'm so embarrassed. I don't remember the name of my female lead.
Anybody want to shout out the female lead? Anybody know?
Oh, she
Yeah.
was amazing. She was absolutely wonderful. The actors who played the, now I'm going to say the wrong word,
What's her name?
priestess?
Tamara Clutterbuck?
No,
Not that one.
no. But the
We'll
woman,
get to it.
The woman who played the priestess was wonderful. Jay, who played the police officer, we had done 3 films together. Most of the people in this film I have worked with before. Jay, my love interest, who I don't remember his name. I'm so embarrassed. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. Wings was, Wings was interesting. I did have a difficult time. His girlfriend was on the set, and she wasn't thrilled about me playing this character, working with Wings. And she did one of those really horrible, nasty things where she called me out on being a porn star and let me know that I shouldn't be in mainstream films. I didn't have the talent. I shouldn't. She was nasty. And I actually walked off the set at one point because she was so mean, so mean. Other than that, everybody was really wonderful. There was just Wings' girlfriend was nasty. Wings was you know, certain actors, they've done a lot of work and they get very comfortable with who they are and what they do and what they say. Wings was very comfortable being Wings. You know, I don't really know how to put that without being mean.
Well, yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that like he's who he is, and he just puts himself right out there on set, and yeah.
Absolutely.
But that sucks though about the girlfriend though. Like I would imagine were other people giving you shit like that at that time?
No. Well, not on that set. No, it's not unusual for someone with my background to come from adult films, go into mainstream, to not be judged. I made adult movies 42 years ago, my last, 40 years ago. And when you hear the name, my real name is Ginger Lynn Allen. But when you hear Ginger Lynn, you immediately go back to the adult arena, which I had a great time. I love doing that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But it is difficult sometimes to be taken seriously, even though I've been doing this. I've done more mainstream films now than I have adult. I did 77 adult films, and I just hit 102 on my last film.
That's incredible. Give it up for that, everybody. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Doing 102 narrative films like that, how many a year are you averaging at that point? Like that's a lot of movies.
I'm working a lot. You know, the last 10 years has been the most amazing part of my film career. I'm doing on average 3 films a year, sometimes 4 or 5. I've done 2 this year. I've got 2 more coming up and 3 booked for next year. I'm really, really excited. I was in my bathtub about 2 months ago, and I like to put music on. I take a half an hour every day for me, and I get in my bathtub and I put on music and I think about things that are going on or what I want to do next. And I thought, I am so fucking lucky, so fortunate. I've had an amazing career, and I'm working a lot more now than ever. And I need my beer. I spit. Sorry.
Grab her beer. Woo.
Cheers. Thank Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Shout out to Beer Zombies. Great beer.
Love Beer Zombies. This is a great place. Thank you all for having me. What was the question again?
Well, we're just talking about just the long career and just the amount of films that you've worked on. I do want to know, like...
Oh, I know. Oh, wait. I
Yeah.
remember now. I'm sorry.
Yes, sure.
So about 2 months ago, I'm in my bathtub and I'm thinking, I'm working, I'm doing so much. I'm full of gratitude. What am I going to do next? And I put a post on LinkedIn and I said, I'm looking for now most of you probably aren't old enough to know this reference, but my Farrah Fawcett Burning Bridge. I want that film that people go, yeah, that, she can act. And I had a couple of dozen people get back to me. I received a few scripts, a lot of proposals. And one of the treatments that I received was from a director by the name of Alex Phillips. And I did a film for him a couple of years ago called Anything That Moves. And Alex said, I want to write a film for you. And he did. And within 2 months, we had a script, we had funding, we had distribution. It just all came together. So I'm like the luckiest girl ever. I'm just, I have to pinch myself sometimes.
I love that, and I love being excited about it, like all the way through, like because a career like that is definitely hard to sustain. Like it's a very difficult business. I'm curious about, like, you've been in the business a while, like the difference between working in like these kinds of films, like at the time that this came out, and today an independent film, and like how the differences are.
It's strange. In the beginning of my mainstream career, I did a lot of comedy, I did a lot of drama, I did a lot of different things. And over the past 10 years, I've kind of become that horror film actor, and I'm getting a lot of character roles versus the types of the lighter feeling films that I did before. And I have to tell you, I've done things, Mind, Body, and Soul. I've done Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects. I've done American Pie, Band Camp. I've done a little bit of everything in different genres, different budgets. I love independent films. I love the fact that everybody that's there cares about what they're doing. They want it to be the best that it can be. And they're not walking in on a big budget production where they work every day, 9 till 10 or 9 to 9, and it's a paycheck. Independent films, people care. They really care about what they're doing. And I shouldn't say this because I will never turn down a big budget film, but I prefer independent films. It's like a family. Yeah, I really do. It's like a family. When I leave, I've made friends for life in almost every independent film I've made.
Well, and they're movie fans. They're people that actually
Yes.
love movies. So,
Yes.
and not to put you on the spot, but are there some movies that you love that like are like some of your favorites?
My favorite movie is no, I just forgot it. Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh, great. great.
I'm old school. I really like Arsenic and Old Lace. Arthur is one of my really good reflexes.
Dudley Moore one, right?
Dudley Moore, yeah, absolutely, not Russell Brand. Dudley Moore. And in preparation for this new film that I'm doing, it's called Rough on Rats, and I'm doing my homework, and the director and I have been working together a lot on what my choices and what we're going to do with the film. And I just watched Gloria with Gina Rowlands.
So good.
Oh my goodness! And The Big Heat. The Big Heat. Yeah, I've got 4 or 5 films that I'm going to watch in preparation for this.
Well, now I want to watch this movie. It sounds, if those are your, inspirations.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
And I get excited about everything I do. I love life. I'm very fortunate in many ways. I have wonderful friends, wonderful family, and most of my, what I call family these days, are people from my independent film works. Yeah.
Well, speaking of inspirations, on my podcast, Piecing It Together, we talk about what movies might have inspired a movie. So speaking of Mind, Body, and Soul, were there any like cult movies or anything that were like kind of touchstones for you guys for what you were like aiming for?
Not that I recall. It's been a long
Yes.
time. It's been a while. No, what was funny though, watching this film, I studied at the Beverly Hills Playhouse for 6 years with Al Mancini, Bill Cackmus, and finally Milton Casellas. And now I lost my train of thought. What was your question?
About the movies that were like inspirations.
Inspirational. I have no fucking clue. Lost my thought.
All good. All good. All
Oh,
good.
can I swear on your podcast?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We're recording in a bar. What's the difference? So, I do want to see if you have any audience questions, but first I actually wanted to start with my own kind of, if I was in the audience, question. A movie of yours, I just want to make sure I have the right year here. Yeah, 95. That I really love is The Stranger, which was shot out here in Nevada. And just maybe if you could talk.
Along.
Yeah, if you could talk a little bit about that one.
The Stranger was a film that we shot. Where do we shot in
Goldfield, right?
Tonopah.
And Tonopah,
Tonopah. And I should have better memories of this. My biggest memory of doing that film was the fact that we were in Nevada and I could gamble. And every day when we got done filming, I was at the casino. I lost like 10 pounds on that film because all I did was drink and gamble.
Right on.
I have no other good memories, no other good stories to tell you.
It happens. That's Vegas, and the heat. It's hot as hell out there.
Right,
But,
right.
well, anybody have any questions for Ginger? Anybody have any questions out here? Anything about the movie or about her career or anything like that?
Don't be shy.
Right over there.
Mind, Body, and Soul is a 9-day shoot.
Wow,
It was
that
a
is
9-day shoot.
fast. Wow, running and gunning. So.
Rick, we may have had our differences in a lot of areas, but he was a good director and he made films that I'm proud of. And he was able, one of the things that I learned from doing adult movies was what I call guerrilla filmmaking. We would do, my first 2 films we shot in 2 weeks on the island of Kauai. We had a $250,000 budget. It was a whole different arena back then in the adult film industry. I was fortunate enough to start when it was at its peak, the golden years. And I'm blonde, and I've had a beer and a half. And I have to tell you, so for this new movie I'm doing, there are reasons I don't want to tell you why, but I wanted to lose some weight. So I've lost 16 pounds in the last 4 weeks. And I'm a little goofy because all I've eaten is baby food. That's my diet
That'll do it to
secret.
anybody. Yeah.
That's my diet secret. So I'm a little goofy tonight. I'm a little not as clear, but I'm also blonde and I am goofy anyway. In all honesty.
Love it. Any other questions? Anybody? Right over here. Most fun. Which movie with Rob Zombie was the most fun?
Definitely The Devil's Rejects. And the reason, okay, so I was originally cast as one of the women in the cabin, the girl that runs out with the face on her, and I'm running. 2 weeks before filming, I'm a martial artist, and I was black belt testing. And I blew out my ACL, MCL, and meniscus on my left leg. So I called my agent up and I said, I told him what had happened, and he called Rob and said, she can't run. That's all he told Rob. So I get to the set, I've got a cast from my thigh to my ankle, I've got crutches, and Rob is like, okay, it's not that you just can't run, you can't walk. And our set was very small. We had these big air ventilation tubes that came through the set, and I couldn't fit my crutches. Now, if you've seen the film, all I'm wearing is a little red corset. And I got to the entrance, Haig is in the back, and I have to get back there. So what they did, the crew lined up and they passed me down. And the way I met Sid was, I was literally plopped on top of him in his dirty white whities. And the reason that I was so grateful for this film is that Rob wrote that scene in. I was not supposed to have a scene with Sid Haig. Sid, oh my God, Sid was one of my favorite people ever. Such a good man, such an amazing person. And so we had a blast. And we did one rehearsal, one run through, and then that was it. That was it. We just clicked.
That's fantastic.
It was so much fun. So much fun. Thank you.
Any other questions out here? Anybody got anything? Going once, going twice. Oh, back there.
When did you know that you wanted to make horror?
When did you know that you wanted to make horror films?
When Rob Zombie cast me in The Devil's Rejects.
Good answer. Yeah.
And I haven't gone back since, and I will continue. I love doing horror films. Absolutely love them. They're so much fun, and I get to go places that I normally wouldn't go. And I love that. I love surprises. I love the unknown. And I love to create. I don't always know what I'm going to do. I make my choices as an actor ahead of time. But when you get there and you're with your actors and your director and everybody on the cast and crew, different things come out. And so I'm constantly in a position where I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm laughing, I'm loving. I hope for all of you that you have as many smiles as I am fortunate enough to get. I hope your lives are fabulous, happy, wonderful, unexpected, and exciting.
I think that's actually a really great message to wrap this up with. Ginger, before we go, is there anything that you want to plug, any project you're working on right now or anything like that?
I have just finished my first of 3 books. I've written a trilogy. I have the outlines for the second and third. The first one, maybe you guys can help me here. We have 3 different titles. I Don't Look Good on Paper, I'm Just a Girl, and I forget the last one, so it doesn't really matter. Which of those titles do you like? The first one, I Don't Look Good on Paper?
Yeah.
I don't know what number it is.
I know, I can't remember what the third one is.
That's a good one.
That could be the third one in the trilogy,
The
right?
third one, the second book in the trilogy is actually called Turn the Page. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen my Metallica video, Turn the Page. I shouldn't
Sure.
call it mine,
I
but
didn't say anything Metallica. It was like,
that was one of the most exciting things I've ever worked on. But I didn't get to meet any of the band. I never met, and they've invited me, I have an open invitation to all of the concerts, and I go as often as possible. Never met anybody from the band. I know, it's so sad,
That's a bummer.
right?
But it's still awesome that you were in that video and it's, killer.
It was wonderful, it really was. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. I hope you've enjoyed the film. And keep watching. My book should be released. We're looking at a fall release. It'll be advertised everywhere, but what I'm really hoping for is not just men that have followed my adult career, but I really want women to read it. There's a message, because so many people go, how did you do adult films? What was it like? What was your thought process? How could you possibly do that? And I tell you, and I'm no different than most of you out there. The difference is I lived out my fantasies. I didn't just fantasize.
There you go. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. And Ginger, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you. Come and see me.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about mind, body, and soul. Thank you to Ginger Lynn for being a part of that. Thank you to Culture Shock for putting it together. And thank you to you for listening. If you're enjoying piecing it together, make sure you are subscribed wherever you're listening right now. You could also follow us on social media at Piecing Pod and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. I wonder if we have any Mind, Body, and Soul fans in that group. I can't wait to see what the reaction is to this episode. But lots more piecing it together on the way, so make sure you're subscribed. You could also follow us, like I said, and find out about everything as it comes out. I think that's a good place to wrap up today's episode. Time to close it out with a piece of music like I always do. And let's see. We're talking cults. What would be a good piece of music to play for this one? Let me see here. Well, I'm sure I have plenty of good culty music to play, but last month I did release a new soundtrack album for a film called Friday and Friday from director Christopher Johnson, who is someone who I've collaborated with many times over the years. And along with the actual score to the film Friday and Friday, which makes up the bulk of this release, I also included some extra bonus tracks that are pieces of the scores from other short films that we had worked on over the last few years. And so I'm going to play one of those. This is a part of the score from a short film called The Angel of Death. So I think this will be a good one to play us out today. So we're going with The Angel of Death from the bonus tracks of the Friday and Friday soundtrack release. Check it out wherever you listen to music, and check out Friday and Friday on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. And we will be back with more piecing it together real soon.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.